Hi everyone, welcome to Homerino Collectibles, and today I'm going to be doing a review that I've been waiting for some time. I've had this on pre-order and it came recently. If you want to see the unboxing, you can go ahead and check that out on my channel. But this is the CA-13 Diesel and Military Multiplexer Kit from Fansproject. It's in the Crossfire line, the Causality, and it's ages 16 plus, and it is epic. Now this is obviously Diesel, which is the Motormaster equivalent of the Stunticons, and is just absolutely incredible. So before we get into any of this, let's just take a quick look at the box. So we got some nice artwork on the side. The back is very helpful for the different modes. It really does help, because the instructions, whilst they're good, they're also lacking in some parts, so you can just take a look at that and go, okay, let's have a look at how this leg really is supposed to be and stuff. But you can see all of his different modes and his different weapons and everything. Really awesome. And then on the other side we've got the same. On the top here we've got some nice artwork, and then on the bottom you've just got your regular warnings and stuff, and that's pretty much it. So let's get him out here and show you what's inside. So first up we have instructions. Now, to learn how to transform this guy, I went back to Pior's review a little time ago, because I remember back in December when he was the first one to get this guy, that he did a very good transformation. He explains everything very clearly and stuff. So if there is anything that you find in my review is unclear, you can go ahead and watch his. However, I will cover everything, and in fact mine will be in two reviews, so this is just on Diesel and not the combined form. So here's the collector card that you get with it, and it gives you a bio. So if you want to read it, I'll just give it a bit more focus and you can go ahead and pause it. There you go. It's interesting, but if you don't want to read it and you just skim past that, I'm not going to tell you what it's about. Same with this, it gives you a bit of a bigger bio of Diesel himself, and you've got some nice artwork of him with the rest of the team, so you can see how he stacks up next to him, but I will show a size comparison a little later. Vehicle mode with Last Chance and robot mode with Car Crash. It also then shows you how they came to make the Motor Squad Military Multiplexer, or M3 combiner. Nowhere in here does it say Intimidator, so I guess that's just kind of like an informal name that everyone gives him. It's the name that everyone thought he was going to be given, but it is just M3. And then you've just got some nice artwork. That's how he looks with all the Stunticons there, but again I will show a size comparison myself. Now the instructions, parts like this, the arrows, they are actually very vague. It says like to do something, and then you look at the next step and it's already done a few more little bits along the way. It's not all too clear. You can follow it, but you just got to make sure that you don't just look at what it's telling you to do, but look at how the overall thing looks. Reference it to your figure and just make sure that it's all exactly the same as you're doing it, because some parts will be just quite confusing otherwise. Yeah, it can just be very, very strange, frustrating experience if you try and follow these to the letter. However, they do go into lots of different modes, to robot and then back to vehicle, and then you've got your combiner mode and everything. It shows you everything very well with respect to the combiner mode, and then you end like that, and then you got a nice bit on the back. Now one thing I will mention is right at the bottom of this, it does actually say on it, my undercover identity is no longer safe. If no more news from me before the next game, try to find me in the second location. So I'm holding it like this so that you can't read any of the other bits if you don't want to see them, but that kind of reveals to me they're doing another combiner, and whoever's been writing these cards, whatever transformer that is, we're going to get a version of. I don't know who it's supposed to be or what it's making reference to, but it kind of makes me think they're hinting towards their next combiner or just another figure. So what we're going to do here is just get this guy out of the clamshell packaging. And one thing that you will notice when you get this is the weight of it. It is completely full. There is no room whatsoever in that trailer. So if you're trying to put stuff in, or if you're buying it thinking, I want to put stuff in, there's no way that you're going to be able to. But that is how he looks, and we're just going to start off with a quick size comparison here. So here's Last Chance. He's about a Scout size, and there he is next to Diesel or Motormaster. And then here is Generations Red Alert, so he's a deluxe size, just so that you can get an overall comparison here. So here's the actual width, literally about the same width as Last Chance, but then you can see with Red Alert, a deluxe is slightly wider. It's about the same size as the trailer there. So even if it was hollow, you wouldn't get your deluxes in, but you would be able to fit your Scouts in. However, it's not hollow, and we'll get to that right now. So basically, first of all, right on the back, it's just got this thing which you can take off. Now, in my unboxing I showed that TF Source gave me a spare one. Now it's only this base piece, and it's the part that's got the handle. At first I thought maybe some people have been receiving these and they haven't been packaged, or maybe this piece is prone to breaking or something, because it's just got this moving handle on, and then obviously that's how it holds the gun. But I don't see why they didn't give me the rest of that, because when it is combined, this piece sits in Last Chance to fill out the arm, or it's part of the big gun. This creates a big gun that both Diesel and M3 can use. And the strange thing is, you can't use it as both at the same time, so you can't fill out the arm and use it as a gun. It's either or, so then you just close Last Chance's car mode up and it looks fine. But if it did give me that completed version, like this rest of it, it just clips together, then I could have a gun and that in the arm, because these back pieces here make up the rest of the gun. In fact, they're two guns themselves. But yeah, so I've got a spare one of them, so that's nice to know. But not sure if TF Source do that with everyone, or if it was just thrown in because I had a big order or something. I'm not sure. But I'll show you what to do with this a little later on. But the detail for this, I mean, that is perfect G1 accuracy for a Motormaster figure. It just is. There's no other way of putting it. So if we take a look at this close up, you've got really, really nice purple, yellow, black, silver. You've got a bit of red on the side there. Really very nice. And as I said, this thing is weighty. You know, this is full of stuff. Really nice purple lines down the side, so it doesn't just look bland. The wheels are all painted very nice. If you look underneath, it just looks like a truck. There's no obvious robot parts sticking out anywhere. Nice back. And then it's all the same around the other side. Now, one thing that you can do with this is make a smaller truck. So basically grab the two parts right at this line here, split them apart. It's put together quite well, so it might take a little while, but there you go. Split them apart, and then these back pieces, you can take the panels out. They're clipped in a few places. It's quite hard to get at, for me anyway. Just unclip, get the other side. A lot of things on this figure are tabbed in very well, just like most things from Fansproject, so just be careful. And then basically this is a separate piece, and I'll show you exactly what you can do with all of this later on. So right here we have the back panels, and you can clip them on. I'm not going to put them on because I'm going to take them straight off, but as you can see, you can make a small sort of delivery truck sort of mode. So if you want to put that back in the box, if you want to just play with Diesel and maybe you don't want a gun or something, because these do form two guns, so you don't need to use this as a big gun, but you know, you can still, if I don't drop it, clip that onto the back there, put that on there. It's pretty cool. But for now I'm just going to show you what happens with these. Comes in half, fold it in half, and then there's a sort of shotgun rifle looking thing, so you got two of those. And then for transformation, what we're going to do is take this top piece right up here, and it's going to split and open up. Split it from the top here, open it all up. I'll just get a bit more focus for you there. And then it's going to untab from the sides too. It's going to come down and fold down to itself. Now, I'm just going to show you where there's one stress point on my figure, and it's where are you? Right there. You can see that even without the focus. But these parts on the side here, they're on sliders, and you can turn them at the ball joint. And as you can see, it sort of wobbles. Like, this is the ball joint. This isn't supposed to turn. This one, it's kind of loose on this side, meaning it can turn. So obviously from me tugging the ball joint, it's turned this and it's started to stress that. Now, it's not going to snap, at least if I don't do it anymore, but that is extremely worrying. Like, that is the most amount of stress that I've ever seen on something that isn't broke yet. It's not like it on the other side. I noticed it when I was transforming it back into this mode, ready for the review, and I was like, holy crap, I better take some care of that. But yeah, I'm not sure if it was already like it, or if I've done it because I only noticed it at that stage. And I've been really careful with this, but all I can say is just be extremely careful with those pieces. Now, what you're going to do with these is rotate them back. As you can see, I'm being extremely careful. You can pop them off if you want, you don't have to keep them on. But with these wheel arches, it's one thing that's not well said to do in the instructions, but you can see on one of the panels that it's already just done. So it doesn't tell you to do it, but you have to do it. And that's just one of the annoying things with the instructions. So you rotate those inside just like that, and then just put them wherever you want out the way, because we're going to focus on the cab section. Now this is all legs. So what's going to happen here is you're going to split it apart. So basically it's loosely tabbed in here. You split it up here, split it at the top, split it down here at the grill. You can pull the wheels out if you want to. Split it in the middle. There we go. And then you have two halves. So we're going to rotate the legs down, and I'm going to bring them out just so that I have a bit of clearance between each leg. I'm going to bring it up a bit and show you how to transform this. So first up, you want to, if you can see inside here, these parts right at the back, this bit right here, you're going to straighten out. Be careful, because that is a strong ratchet and it's only held on this thin flimsy little hinge there. But I mean, it's fairly capable of you know, using that ratchet, but just be very careful with it. Just straighten it out. This part, this connector tab, can just go straight down. And now what you're going to do, you got this kind of floppy area here. It was out flat like this, and you're going to bring it out up here, and it's going to lock itself into place so that it's a little like that. You can do whatever you want with the wheel. It's going to stick out a little bit. And then this here is the foot area. So we're going to bring this up, rotate that top piece out there, and then this part here, bring it together. And what we're going to do is, there's a hole there and a tab just on there, so you're going to put that over, tab that in, rotate the foot around, and bring this section in, and that is one leg done. Like I said, you can do whatever you want with that wheel, and then you do the same with the other leg. And now that it looks like this, you're going to rotate it round at the waist. So what you can do is you can just bring up these flaps. These are part of the waist piece for the combined mode that we're not going to need right now, but these yellow pieces have to be at the front, and as you can see, that's the back. So we're going to rotate down the bottom. It rotates at a few places, like there's a rotation joint here, at the top here, and then up inside there. So we're going to use the very, very bottom rotation to bring it round like so, and then you can bring the flaps back down. So now you've got it looking like that. So next what we're going to do here is this top piece is on a hinge, and then mine kinda, it's hard because it's a metal pin and plastic, so the plastic can scrape. It's not going to damage it or anything, it just means it's tight. There's a lot of people's who are a little bit looser than that. If yours is as tight as mine, it makes no difference. So it's on this kind of joint, so fold it in, and then there's two pegs, one there, holes there and there. You're going to push down. You can't get lost through any of these steps because there's only one way everything can go. And now that you've done that, you've got something that looks a little bit like this. So these pieces on the side, again, just make sure that they are slid out, and just be very careful, and just rotate them down to the back so that they are out the way slightly, like so. And then what we're going to do is, these pieces are tabbed in right here. They are the arms. They also make part of the torso for the combined mode, but you pull them up and out the tabs. They're in there quite tight. Once you've got one out, it's easier to get the second one out. And then bring them out to the side, and then flip these pieces up right here. They're the shoulders. Then you can flip the head up, bring it around. This piece that was down here now clips in to that headpiece like that. Nice side click. And then the arms come round, so rotate round like so. Then these pieces here come up, allowing this to rotate out. Then you slide the arm up, rotate the fist, and then you can put that piece down. Again, you can do whatever you want with it. And then once you've done that, you have a fully transformed Diesel slash Motormaster now. As you could see there, the steps are pretty quick. There's some things that can be a little tough tolerance wise. The legs, when you first do it, can seem a bit daunting. The arms are a lot more simpler than they look. Trust me, when you get this in hand, once you've transformed it, I don't know, once into robot mode, it's really easy to get it back into vehicle mode. It's really easy to see where everything goes. As you can see, he's quite a blocky transformer, so there's nothing too crazy about him. You can also give him shotguns, if I can get him in his hands, like so. There's the shotgun. So the guns are pretty big with him. And then what you can do as well is you can give him a fairly big gun. So what we're going to do is going to take the shotgun. Actually, no, we're going to leave the shotgun in his hand, I think, because you actually use the same peg. So I'll just leave that there. You take this piece out here, this piece off the top here, this piece slide out here, and then this is the spare piece that I got given. Now, for the gun, it's exactly the same transformation for the combined mode, except if you use it like this, that's on there, and you use that peg. And for the combined mode, you bring the handle down and use that, but that'll become more apparent in a second. So what you're going to do to connect this is take a shotgun, take the underside of this, and peg it in like so. Now what you're going to do is take this, and it clips right on there. If it ever wants to go on, there we go, like so. And then you can take this piece here and this piece here. they will connect together like so to form a barrel. That's very tight to get off, very hard to get off. I can't stress that enough. And then what you're going to do is take this, just flip it upside down. That connects onto the gun exactly the same place. Get on there, there we go. And then this piece clips into the front of the gun. I'll bring him over here. This goes on here, and this peg here goes into that hole, like so. And then there you have the giant gun. And then, like I said, that handle flips down for use in full combined mode. But that's not all, because remember, as well as this, we have this. Now this is comprised of a few different parts. We've got this part on the bottom, which is the handle of the sword, and we've got this piece right here, which is the chest piece. It's also the little roller car, and if you want to see a size comparison with that really quick, just to see how big the car is, the wheels don't really touch the ground too well, but basically that is how big the car is. So it's not very big at all. So here's a size comparison with that car, just in case you were wondering. But you won't need this right now for the combine. You can flip this handle down and put it in his hand for a shield. I'll show you that in a second. So this piece, you may be wondering, you know, it looks quite generic. Well, that's because the top and the bottom are exactly the same. Now, they're both comprised of this half here and this half here, but it's literally the same piece stuck together. So how this was on here, like so, you can take it and you can plug it on there like so. Now this piece with the bit sticking out does have to be the back, and that does have to be the front, so the bit with the hole in is the back. But apart from that, it can go that way up or that way up. And to take it apart, you just literally split it in half, like so. So as you can see, this is where some of the other parts are stored. So here we have a sword tip, here we have a side to each of the swords, and if you're looking at this thinking that looks really complicated, how are you going to put it back together? It's very simple, because no matter what way you put it in, it's all the same pieces, top and bottom half. So there's only one way it can all go. Well, you can put them on both sides and everything, but you know, you're gonna find it really easy to peg everything back together. So what you're gonna do with these two pieces is push those together. Take the sword tip and plug that in up the top. Take this part right here and plug the handle in, and there you have your sword. And if you want a size comparison of the sword, yeah, it's bigger than Diesel himself. Very awesome. Now he can't actually hold the sword in this mode, and if he can, I can't see how the hell you're going to get that in that hand. But if people know how you can do that, then go right ahead. But you can store it on him, which I will show you in a second. But what you can also do is remove some of these parts. So basically, this piece here on both sides unplugs, and they are the connectors to put the arms on in the combine mode, but I'm just going to leave those on just for a second here. Basically what's going to happen is, if you just unhook the side pieces, you can pull them apart. 1 second. There we go. So you can pull these two pieces apart. This first piece that looks a bit like this can move and stuff. Generally you can't really do much with this. This piece at the back moves a little bit, so you can do different things, but it's generally for the combine mode. Right now that doesn't do anything, so essentially that's like some kind of like a little tank drone or something. But these are for use on his shoulders, and then these pieces we're gonna flip these around, releasing the missiles, and then you can take the hands off. And just to show you the hands real quick, they are very awesome, very articulated. They got a point at the knuckle and then an articulation point up here, another knuckle. Same with the thumb, except that's got a ball joint too, and then it rotates and everything. Really cool. But the way to store this in here is you've got these two ports on the back which go into those two ports there, and you can kind of slot that in and get it in. A little fiddly, I'm not going to bother with it, but that is one way to store that when you're not using them for the main combiner. So you flip around these missile pods, put them on the back, take these missiles that fell off. I'm just going to plug those back in. As you can see, they just kind of slide in there. The other way actually, because they've got the grooves on there, and they semi-tab in. Because it had some red there, it kind of looks as if they were meant to be glued, but the glues come off or something, I don't know, but they will stay on. So yeah, basically that is like a kind of turret, you know, missile pod sort of looking thing that you can stand and do whatever you want with, but that's going to go on his back. So I'm going to transform the other two in exactly the same way, split it apart and do that, and I'll show you how to connect them with Diesel. So on his back you can actually store the sword if you want to in this mode, just so that you've got everything on him at once. What you can do is take one of these wheels, and then once you've flipped that round, there's a peg right there, if you can see that in the light, just there, and that's going to peg into this hole here, like so. And basically you can't have it the other way because the sword's too big. So if you want to have the sword stored, then that is the only storage for the sword in this configuration. So how these shoulder pieces work is, this is the connector, and it's got this little tab on the outside of it, and then these parts are springs. So as you push, the spring turns. And just a word of warning, it's pretty tough. Now you can just take this part off if you wish and plug this on, and then attach this again. But basically what you're going to do, this is like one of the harder parts about the figure, but it's got the notch, so that's facing to the back the same way as that notch. It's going to fit over. You're going to push it, try and line it up with the springs. It's not so much about force, it's more about getting it lined up. I nearly had it a little bit there. There we go. It's just getting it lined up, and then once you turn it, you then can't pull it off. As you can see, only that pulls, but that doesn't come off. So it's a very strong connection. The only bad bit is this isn't strong. But if it were, then it would be the perfect connection. And then obviously you can then turn those forward and have shoulder mounted cannons, but I'm going to leave it down for right now. And then for the back, with the other piece that we made, as you can see, it's got these bits on the side, and they peg into the holes just there behind his head, so they fit just like that. I'm going to get the other side on here off camera, and I'll be right back. And there he is now, guys. So he has all of his parts attached to him. Like I said, you can put the hands in those parts on the shoulders, and then you can put the sword on his back. And there's the shield in his hand, which I'm just going to take out without him falling over. You can attach that onto one of the sides. So as you can see, whether you have it in his normal mode, which is quite, I wouldn't say skinny, but he's very kibble free. Those bits on the back that you can rotate, those panels that I was mentioning about that has the little stress on and whatnot that are on ball joints, those pop off the ball joints. You can take them off, like I said, to transform them if you want. So yeah, in that original mode without the armour on, you can just take those off and he's completely cobble free. He looks incredible. Articulation, obviously you've seen what he can do mostly, but he's got ratcheted hips, he moves at like 3 points at the waist, knee articulation, ball jointed feet, rotates at the wrists, he's got a few shoulder points, double jointed elbows, rotates at the biceps, head, left and right and stuff. You've seen what all these cannons can do, they can rotate and stuff. Really awesome. One bad thing about this figure is just, well, the car. This tab here, you can't fold it away, so unfortunately the car kind of can't roll on the ground. In fact, it only rolls upside down, so that's kind of annoying that you can't even put this on display next to him and have it as like a little drone, because that doesn't really work. But as a size comparison here to one of the Stunticons, here is Car Crash. So as you can see, he towers over them. He's literally twice as tall with all this armor on. And then with another deluxe, here's Prowl, who is the same size as Red Alert. So there he is with a normal Transformers Generations Deluxe. And then here he is with something that I've recently reviewed and is my favourite third-party item at this moment in time, Hypernova. So as you can see, he is I'd say about 1-2 inches, yeah, I'd say about 2 inches bigger normal robot from the back of the backpack to the top of his head, and then with the extra bit on the top he's like a whole scout figure taller. But overall, as you saw, it's really not that fiddly. It can be at times with some things that don't want to tab together properly, like we got this that's just loose here a little bit, but he's got amazing articulation, comes with loads of weapons. You can give him loads of different poses and everything, especially with the other Stunticons. They look amazing as a team in robot mode or vehicle mode. And then not to mention the combiner, but just as this portion of the figure, it's absolutely incredible, with all the different options that you can do with these mounted cannons and whatnot. I prefer it without the cannons, but like this, he just looks really bulky and fills up the frame for a end of the review. So thanks for watching, everyone. If you want to see any of the other Transformers in this video, the Hypernova's on my channel, and so is the other Stunticons that I showed. I'm going to put them in the description so you can watch those before the combiner. I'll also put the link to the combiner when I put that up on, and then the Red Alert and Prowl, I'll have those up on my channel sometime soon over the next week, so you can subscribe if you want to see those. But I want to thank everyone for watching. This is definitely worth the money. It's awesome to have with your other Stunticons, even if you don't want it as a combiner. And it just looks absolutely incredible, and it is the best Motormaster out there. There's no one else that's making a third-party version of this guy right now, so pick it up whilst you can. It'll look incredible standing next to your G1 version. So be careful of some of the stressed parts if you have any. On my figure it's really tight tolerances with all the pegs, but you just got to be careful. Apart from that, no problems whatsoever. So definitely pick this guy up. The paint is epic, he looks epic, and I'm going to end this because it's getting quite long. So the combiner will be up within the next week. I'm going to do it now and get it up as soon as I can. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in that review, guys.